And yo, party people in the place to be, what's good? You are now watching the Big Boss Man Roundtable featuring the Big Boss Man himself, Woodshed 1914. I am the co-pilot, your main man, the number one chief rock in this universe, Uncle Freezie. Woodshed, what's good, bro?
Man, what's going on, man? Just chilling, chilling. To be honest, a tad bit triggered because I can't handle those West Coast games
Mm,
that start at 9 o'clock. I was up
okay.
and then I was trying to get my kids to sleep, and I can't lay in the bed with them because they think it's playtime. So I made a little pallet on the floor. They
Right.
laid down, and all I remember it was the third quarter, and we were down 10. And then I woke up, got a notification that I missed a Jalen Iverson appearance. So
Right.
that was a little disappointing.
That was, yeah. 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 Well, I was doing yard work, man, and got a little boo boo. I
Oh
guess you
man,
can't see it because me and the band-aid are the same color,
yeah,
ironically. Ha ha ha. But yeah, man, been busy, man. It's a strange time to be a Knicks fan, man.
yep.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. This Knicks season reminds me of that Doobie Brothers song "What a Fool Believes."
Oh my god.
You know what I'm saying? What a fool believes. Yeah, I don't know what to think about this team, man. Is Jalen Brunson a megastar?
You know what? I'm gonna say this. He can be,
Thank you.
but he's not that not consistently. You know what I'm saying? Like some of it is because of the requisite physical talent. You know what I'm saying? Like the one thing about him is his footwork, man. The only person playing right now that's got anything close to the footwork he has. Well, let me not say one, two. It's only two guys that have comparable footwork. That's Embiid and that's Jokic. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Um, which makes him special. Because and if you go back and look at his pre-draft comps, a lot of people were saying Mark Jackson.
Right.
He's got the footwork. He can post up. Got the mid range on line. He's not the playmaker that M. Jackson was, but the
No.
byproduct is still successful point guard play. So you can't. But can yeah, some nights he's gonna be a mega star, and
Yeah.
some nights he's gonna be a guy. So,
Yeah. 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 I don't know honestly, I don't know. As a Knicks fan, I don't know what to tell people because I don't know what to believe myself.
yeah, you had the worst loss of the season and the
Season
best win of the
statistics.
season.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Within a span of 4 days.
Right. Right.
Like, but that's the peaks and valleys of the way this team is built.
Right.
I mean, beating that Phoenix team is nothing to shake a stick at because once they get it going, they ain't gonna lose a lot of games.
No.
They're one of those teams that you look at and say, yeah, they're struggling right now, but it ain't gonna be for long. Once they get it clicking, they gonna get it clicking.
Right. Ironically, we face another team just like that in a
Tonight,
few hours.
yeah. And I know for a fact I'm gonna fall asleep on that one too. I'm gonna miss that one. So it just is what it is. But I mean, think about it. Those games like tonight, they tip off at 10:30 Eastern time, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Think
man.
about that. It's after midnight at halftime.
Right.
I mean, I'm
Right.
just saying, man.
Right.
Like,
And and for
it's
those and
crazy.
for those that are busy on Sunday mornings, you
Yeah,
know,
you got
and
to go
doing
to
the right
bed.
thing, you got to prepare. You got to
Yeah,
lay it down Sunday night. I mean Saturday
yeah,
night.
yeah. But I just want to bring up one thing, bro, because it was a heated debate today.
You are you, let me can I just guess? Can I just get just humor just humor? I don't want to stall your point, but I do want to humor myself and the thousands of Knicks fans eventually that will watch this. Is it a conversation from social media?
It is.
Hmm. Is it a polarizing topic that is not merit based?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, march on, brother. Yeah,
So it's it's a heated debate, man. It shouldn't even been heated, but the comment was made that, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't want to go back and look up the exact tweet. I was hours and hours ago. If you try to find something from hours ago in the thread, it can take you hours, right? But it was a tweet that pretty much said that Jalen Brunson saved the Knicks. So, my response was simply that no, he enhanced them, but it was Randall and his, transformation that saved the Knicks. There was a good decent amount of improvement in the standing of the franchise before Brunson even got here. And the comment was made was, "Hey, you can't give him Brunson's credit." And I'm like, okay, how is stating the fact giving him Brunson's credit? This team, yeah, they struggled the year before Brunson got here, but they had injuries. Um, they had regression from certain players,
right,
and they have regression from a coaching perspective. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Um, and I think honestly, if not for the injuries, the team would have been right back there in that fourth seed, sixth seed range,
Yep,
and they'd
yep,
have been right there in the playoffs.
yep.
But that's neither here nor there. So of course, what piggybacks off that is, oh well, you can't give all the credit to Randall. It was RJ was there, and I'm like, look, yeah, RJ had an impact, but this dude literally became an award-winning All NBA All Star player under Thibodeau.
Right,
If they would have had six more wins, he would have been top three in MVP voting.
right,
Like straight up, he would have been top three in MVP voting. And the last player to do that was Melo.
right.
So it's not even really about Randall versus Brunson, or even Randall versus RJ, which is dubious to even discuss, in my opinion. But it's about
May
people.
I add one more element to that?
Go for it.
If it wasn't for that deep thigh contusion that Randall suffered right before that stretch against Milwaukee, where we lost to a Giannis-less
I
Bucks
remember that.
team, if it wasn't for that, instead of us winning 9 in a row, you may have seen this team. That team could have won 30 out of 40, bro.
Yep.
You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? You remember how the All-Star, remember how after the All-Star, going into the All-Star break, Julius Randle said, "I hate that the All-Star break is here." Remember they asked, you know what I'm saying, "What do you like
Yep.
about being an All-Star?" Blah, blah, blah. He's like, "Every year after the All-Star break, I get off to a slow start." Remember that?
Yep.
Randall was like, "Yo, after every All-Star break, I get off to a slow start." And so that was the good thing. They were like, "What's good and bad about the All-Star break?" That was what he said, man. Being an all-star is a great thing, right? But then he's also mentioned that after the all-star break, he always gets off to a slow start after the all-star break,
Yeah.
right?
I remember that stretch. I remember that stretch of game. He's not the type, and unless something is broken or torn, he gonna be out there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
with all due respect to RJ, Randall would have played through migraines, and he may have struggled, but he'd have played through migraines, man. And I think that people get me saying the guy doesn't get the appreciation that he should get. They equate that to me saying, "Oh, he's the only reason that the Knicks were good." No, what my statement was he was the primary reason that they were good, which is to me indisputable. Like it's legitimately indisputable because if this team didn't, let's say this team didn't have Randall and they were a 29 win team, picking 12th in the draft. You ain't selling Jalen Brunson on that. Hey, look, I know y'all were legitimately 2 games away from going to the NBA Finals. But hey, come on over here, man, and join this 30-win team. We'll even bring your dad in. It
Right.
it just makes no basketball sense whatsoever because what are you leading? What are you leading? You're leading a lottery team. The dude came on board because he looked and said, "Dang, this team won 37 games last year. They missed the playoffs. The only thing they're missing is me. I'm what they're missing." But if you got a lottery team that wins 28 games and it's no All Star caliber player on the team, the upward trajectory is a question mark at best. You're not selling him on that. Hey, leave Luca and the Western Conference contending team and come over here. Come over here, man, and get us out of the lottery. Get us to the play-in. Nah, man. Nah. So the bottom line is the Knicks being a good team, a pretty good team that has already shown that they have a legit star player. So he wouldn't be playing by himself. But that star player is legitimately wanting somebody to come and take the reins. That was probably the most attractive part. His dad wasn't even on the Knicks. They had literally just hired him.
Right.
So I mean, it's. I think people like to argue just to argue specifically when it comes to Randall.
Right.
But my memory is a little bit longer than some other people, man.
Right.
I remember that summer of 19 when everybody had pictures of Kyrie and Kevin Durant and Zion photoshopped
Yeah.
together, and oh man,
Photoshop. It was a screen.
yeah,
It was a lock
yeah,
screen on a phone.
yeah, it's the screen lock. The screen lock picture with KD, Kyrie, and Zion.
Right.
And we ended up with none of that.
None of it.
So I mean, it's just the truth, man. Just the truth. People got to be understanding and just be real about it, man. He is a big part of the reason that the team is where it is. Now, if you ask
Right.
me, whose team is it? I'm gonna tell you, yeah, it's Jalen's team. It is. But the reality of it is, if you take either of them off this team, we ain't going nowhere. We ain't
Right.
going nowhere. Take either. That's why I can't say, oh man, Jalen Brunson is the most important Nick. Nah, because if you take Randall off his team and you plug in Jericho Sims at the 4, where we going?
Nowhere.
We ain't going nowhere. And
Right.
conversely, if you take Jalen Brunson off his team, you know, we'll win 30 games. We'll win 35 games. I mean, we'll win 37 games. And like, so the reality of it is, we really know we made it, but we acquire a talent that makes it somebody else's team.
Right.
And that's no disrespect to, Brunson or Randall and guys that they have, but when we get to the point where it's somebody else's team, that's when we know we made it.
Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. And that's interesting, bro. That's interesting. Um, got a question for you.
Yo,
What do you think the ceiling is for this team with and without a superstar? If you could tell me what the ceiling is of the Knicks without a superstar first, and then tell me what a superstar alongside Brunson, Randall, and RJ could be.
as is, I think the ceiling is going to be about what it was last year. Now, here's the thing that I have to keep in mind when it comes to the teams we played and the way the playoffs was set up last year. It was set up perfectly for them. I mean, you got Cleveland in the first round, a team that you've been able to out physical that season. And then you got Miami in the second round, a team that you played 3 or 4 times. You beat them a good clip at a time. So your confidence is there. But
Right.
just being real, if not for that first round upset, they would have had the Bucks in round 2.
Yeah.
So the likelihood of you avoiding a Philadelphia, Miami, or Boston in round 2 is slim to none.
Okay.
So, I had to ask myself, this team is, are they getting past Boston, Philly, or Milwaukee in the second round? I can't see it. I can't see it. Brunson scored what 47 against Miami, and they still lost the game. So I mean, I can't see it. So I think that the ceiling, as is about what it was last year. If you get
Okay.
the right matchup in the first round, you win the first round matchup. Beat Orlando in 7, beat Orlando in 6, right? Get to the
Okay.
second round, you play against Milwaukee, play against Philly, or you play against Boston. I don't think they'll get swept, but I think it'll be about like it was last year. You take it to 6 games, and every game is competitive, every game is close, but you lose in 6 games. I think that's how it would be. So, for example, if they were able to acquire a superstar or plug in, I'm trying to think who I would synonymously plug in there. Um, oh man, who would I plug in there? Um, I'm gonna say Donovan Mitchell. If
Okay.
if if you found a way, now of course it would have to be like Fournier, quickly Grimes, a gazillion picks. They probably would ask for RJ. If you told me that my top 3 players are Brunson, Mitchell, and Randall, okay, at that point when you got that much firepower, especially in that backcourt, I can see them winning a second round series if they play a Philadelphia, if they play a Boston, even if they play a Milwaukee, because you got at least 2 dudes that when they turn it on, they get hot. You ain't stopping them.
Right.
We've seen Donovan Mitchell play in Utah and go toe to toe with the Denver Nuggets team that eventually won a championship,
Right.
trading 50 pointers with Jamal Murray. We've seen it. So, you're basing that on a full resume. So if you put a talent like that on the team, that's a team that can legitimately go all the way through the East to the final.
Yep.
That's I mean, if you put that type of talent on that team, the glass ceiling is removed. It's legitimately removed because what Brunson did last night, Mitchell can do that too. 50
Yeah.
points, 9 assists, 9 3. He can do it too.
Yeah.
He can do it too.
Yeah, man.
So I think that the irony of it is Scott Perry did the interview. He said the reason they didn't want Mitchell is because he's not a singular force. Okay, I get it, Scott. I promise you.
That was the dumbest,
But
bro.
all that told me was that as a front office, y'all didn't believe that y'all could build a roster around a superstar. That's all that told me. Because you know what I say. You get the superstars in house and you figure the role players in the bench, you figure that out later.
Right.
And people always say, well, you won't have any assets and you'll deplete your assets. You won't have. We look at teams do it every year. The Lakers have done this for 5 decades. The Celtics have done it for 5 decades. You know what I'm saying? They get the stars in the building and they figure the rest out later.
Well, let me ask you two separate questions based on what you said. Right. One, okay, so one, you said that Scott Perry said that a NBA star coming here can't raise the ceiling of this team by himself. And then two, you made a point about saving assets for the perfect star, right? So I want to ask you, I want to ask this. If you were in those guys' position, would you trade would you bring another talented player here to play with Brunson, Randall, and RJ?
I would because I think that what has to be understood is that the next trade don't have to be the last trade. Like it
Notice every time
legitimately
me and you,
does.
you and I talk, I always drink out of my Gamecock cup, right?
I see that. I see that.
Shot,
Y'all got our running back.
shots fired.
Yeah, they our running back. Rocket Sanders transferred, but I think they said KJ Jefferson, the QB, going there
Yeah,
too. But man,
yeah,
it's whatever though.
shots.
But I think what needs to be understood, man, is that the next trade don't have to be the last trade. Because every time I would say, "Hey, I would trade Zach Levine," or would you trade RJ for him? Yeah, why not?
Right,
We trade him for a better basketball player. Why not?
right,
Or, and well, that'll make us a contender. Okay, the next move does not have to because if you remember the consensus during the summertime when Boston picked up Porzingis, oh, he's not going to be healthy. They traded Marcus Smart. That's the heart and soul, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, watch what happens next. And then bam, they make another move for Drew Holiday. Now they're the favorites to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
And Knicks fans look at trades with singularity. Okay, we get Zach LaVine. What's that going to do? His contract is such and such and such. Okay, don't talk to me about contract. He makes 45, but we paying Hart and DiVincenzo 30 plus. So don't talk to me about money. We
Well,
got that kind of money in the bench. Put that kind of money in the bench. So don't talk to me about money. But
yeah. Don't talk to me about money when you got Fournier rotting on the bench making
right,
19 million.
make it 19 million.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
don't.
saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to
ask
hear
you,
about
did Scott Perry say that they as a collective feel as if Donovan Mitchell couldn't do it? Or did he feel as if Donovan Mitchell couldn't do it?
No, he said we. I'm telling you. He said we.
He is saying that the front office doesn't believe in Donovan Mitchell.
I'm telling you what he's doing is he's airing out what we figured. Scott Perry knew this team needed a wing about 6'8" to 6'10"
Right.
that could jump out of the gym, play the passing lane, switch on 4 or 5 positions, and guess what? Create his own shot and create for his teammates. You know what he did? He tried to go and get that.
Right.
And then when they traded for Cam Reddish, Tibbs just said, I don't want this guy. We don't have a rotation spot. If y'all trade him over here, y'all need to trade somebody else and create a spot. So what Scott Perry is doing is two things. He's putting it out there what this team needs.
Right.
When you put two and two together, you understand that he was the one trying to get it. You had the Rosen's people on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Ready to sign.
Right.
But we go and get Burks and Bulls. Like he said we. When it came to Mitchell, he said we. We didn't think he was a singular force. Here's what's crazy to me. If you don't think that he can raise the level of this team, that tells me one thing. You're waiting on the MVP caliber player.
Right.
Which would be a Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, a LeBron James, or Kevin Durant. And because you know what upset me? I saw somebody a couple of days ago say they were waiting on Devin Booker. How can you tell me you don't want Donovan Mitchell but you want Devin Booker? How that make sense?
I don't know.
How does that make sense? You telling me you're willing to wait 3 more years and then trade a boatload of talent and picks for Devin Booker
for a 29-year-old shooting guard?
Right. Like it don't make sense.
It don't make sense. It doesn't.
Scott Perry he putting it out there. He said twice they need a wing player that can create a shot, create for others, and they don't have that.
Right.
They just don't, and it's becoming heir apparent when we play these teams like Minnesota. It's coming heir apparent. So it's interesting to hear him speak because he is talking from a perspective of somebody that was in the room with those dudes when decisions were being made.
Right.
I don't agree with that. I think that you can put Donovan Mitchell on just about any team. Like you can close your eyes and pick a team in the NBA right now. And
what about Donovan Mitchell on the Indiana? Donovan Mitchell over Buddy Hield on the Indiana Pacers. Would
they'd be contenders.
Oh my goodness.
They will legitimately be contenders in my book.
Donovan Mitchell on the Charlotte Hornets with LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller and Mark Williams.
They'd be a problem.
Right? All of a sudden, they're not in the lottery no more, bro. Now they might be in the play-in, but they won't be in the lottery. I got another one for you. Donovan Mitchell on the Orlando Magic.
Oh man, they'd be straight up contenders. That's all that they're missing is a player like that. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing to be remembered is that Cleveland team, when they were playing, they were the 3 seed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They ran into a Knicks team that had their number and smoked them out of there in 5 games. But the season wasn't by any stretch of the imagination a failure. Their team was a lottery team the previous year. But I didn't agree with him saying that we felt like if we traded for him, we wouldn't have enough assets to put anything around him. See, that's the part that gave me problems because the best assets you can have is roster talent.
Right.
That's the best asset that you can have is
Right.
roster talent. Those protected picks ain't doing nothing for us. You know what I'm saying? We wanted to hold on to Quentin Grimes. He ain't panning out. He done lost his spot to Dante DiVincenzo. We ain't even got to Christmas yet. He lost his spot. Emmanuel quickly, y'all offer him a non-guaranteed deal. You may not even keep him.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? These were the guys that were the hold up. RJ Barrett is up and down, up and down, up and down
Up
again.
and down.
Y'all
Yeah.
and y'all didn't had him in trades for the last 2 years.
And Richard, let me
So
let me let me can if I may interject right here. I think the reason why RJ Barrett is up and down is because this team asked him to do multiple things. They asked him to be a Swiss Army knife. And for those that have ever had a Swiss Army knife, you know a Swiss Army knife is only good for temporary fixes, bro. Right? Like you legit not get ready to cut your steak with a Swiss Army knife,
no, ain't no
right?
way.
Right. You only gonna use the corkscrew on that Swiss Army knife to open wine. Well, how often do you drink wine with a cork in it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That set of scissors that comes in on that Swiss Army knife, how often do you use those scissors instead of regular scissors? You feel me? You see how this weird thing goes, like when you make things when people say, well, because the other night RJ Barrett was a defender and not a scorer. Now, was he efficient scoring the basketball last night? Yes. He
Hmm.
scored 21 points on
Yep.
10 shots, right?
Yep.
But his
That's what you
primary
want.
job was being a wing defender last night,
Yep.
right? Now, tonight, depending on if Paul George plays or not, you might see RJ on Harden, on Kawhi, on Russ. You might see RJ on a lot of depending on, right? But at the same time, you know, yeah, you just ask RJ to do too many different things. If R my point is if RJ had a clear and defined role, I think you would see less inconsistency from RJ Barrett.
I mean, I'd agree with that. I think that the truth is asking him to be the guy. I don't think he can be the guy. And that's not saying he can't be a good player, can't be a productive player, can't eventually make an all-star game. But I do agree if you come to him and say, look, man, your job tonight is to get in Paul George's jersey. Get in his jersey, use all six of your fouls if you have to.
Right,
And he can do that. Or
right,
you say, RJ, look, man, we don't have Mitch, RJ. We need you to get 20 rebounds, keep the ball moving in transition, don't turn it over. He can do that.
right.
You say, hey, I need you to be the guy running the show tonight. I need you to go out there and give me 10 assists. He can do that. There's a lot of things that he can do. But when you say, hey, you need to be the jack of all trades, you need to run the show, you need to lead the team in scoring. Like, I
Right.
don't know if he'll be, that type of guy. So, when when you're in that type of space, yeah, it's gonna be some inconsistency. The
Yeah.
thing about him is somebody was triggered, but I said he's likely gonna be a Karan Butler type, which is somebody that at his peak, he's a legit all-star type player,
Right.
but he may never be synonymous with a superstar. But the person I would personally like to see him model his game after is Lamar Odom,
Oh.
which is another lefty and a guy that can legitimately do some of everything. You know, I think he's been focusing on the scoring for a long time,
Right.
and I think he has some incentives in his contract, to be honest, to where if he averages 20, he gets some. I had to look at it again, but I do believe there was some incentive bonus in his contract in relation to scoring. So, I get it that you want to get the points, but I wouldn't disagree that if given a specific assignment, he can execute it.
Right. Right. Right.
But
Right.
I share your original comment where you said you don't know where this team is going. It's a weird space to be in. Anytime you lose to the 7-16 Jazz and turn around and beat the Suns, you know what I'm saying, at midnight your time in their house, healthy,
Right.
that's Jekyll and Hyde to that's legitimately Jekyll and Hyde.
That's
So you
yeah.
don't know what you're gonna get because that Utah team is trash.
That Utah team is trash, and they were missing
It's
starters.
trash. And they had dudes out.
And their
Trash.
starting point guard got injured during the game and left. And a guy named Taylor Horton Tucker got hot
Oh
against
god.
us and went off.
Yeah. That's that's the nature of the beast. It don't make sense. I mean, there were stretches where they were legitimately refusing to guard Larry Markkinen, refusing.
Right. Right.
So I
Right.
don't know, man. I mean,
My other question to the point that you made. Why are the Knicks holding on to their perceived valuable assets? And don't just tell me they're waiting for a superstar because that's the easy question. I mean, that's the easy answer, right? What I want to know is what superstar they're holding out hope for. Like, what superstar is worth you not making a championship run right now? What superstar is out there worth you waiting for?
I'm gonna be real. This may sound stupid to say, but there really is none. Because anytime you talk about making a championship run in today's NBA,
Right.
these supermax contracts are so high. This new CBA is coming. The smart thing to do would have been to make go forward while you had Brunson and Randall on two of the top 10 contracts in the whole league.
The Randall contract is so valuable,
Yep.
right? Because you have an all-star locked in for 2 more years, making
It's
29 million.
like the 60th high player in the league.
Yeah,
Like come on, man.
yeah, and Brunson is locked in for what, three more years or two
Two
more
in the
years?
option. Yeah, two in the option.
Yeah,
That summer, I think the summer of 25, 26, I think they both have. I think Brunson has an option that summer, and Julius is expired
that
that
summer, the
summer.
same summer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So the time to go for it, man, really was last year
right,
after you saw what they were doing together, and definitely they should have considered making a move this summer. Even if it wasn't, even if it wasn't that. Oh my God, the Knicks traded for Joel Embiid. Even if it wasn't that, I think they still should have did something to more than incrementally improve because all they did technically was trade Obi and sign Dante. That's pretty much
yeah,
it. But that's pretty much it. And what
right,
really set the league ablaze was when Boston said, "Okay, we done playing.
right,
We done playing. There's no way that we shouldn't have been in the finals last year. We done playing." So they went out and they maximized their cap space and weaponized it to now their two-star players are surrounded by two other all-star players.
right, right, right.
And to be honest, if you put Porzingis and Drew Holiday on this team with Randall and Brunson, we would have been
Champ-
the favorites to win the whole thing.
championship. Yeah,
We've been the favorites. They would have had the over under about 54, 55 games, and we've been the favorites to win the whole thing. And did the Knicks not have the assets to get that done? They
yes,
did.
yes,
They legitimately did.
right,
We spent money that could have been used on Kyle Kuzma for the bench.
yeah,
That's what they did. So to answer your question, I don't think that I think that the waiting on the superstar thing is kind of like I don't want to say a cop out, man, but they're dipping their toes in the pool, right?
Right.
But I don't think they. I think they're kind of scared to jump in because they don't want to know if maybe see if the water's too deep. They dipping their toes in the pool, but they're scared to jump in because they know if they make a big move and it's the wrong move, then they fired.
Then it's dope dog food. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
James Dolan is never going to apply pressure to win a championship. He makes so much money by the Knicks just simply having playoff games. He'd rather that be the case because see the thing about if you look at the Lakers, they're pretty much the exemplary example of what you want your NBA franchise to be. You can put the Warriors on that path, but the Warriors really only have one era where they did it. But the Lakers are that example where
Well, in fairness to the Warriors, they had two eras. Right. People
yeah,
forget about the championship era of the 70s
yeah. If
when
you
they
go
were
back fast,
really, really good with Rick Barry and Al
yeah,
Attles
yeah,
and
yeah,
all them guys.
yeah.
They're forgotten
If
to
you go back to
history.
the San Francisco Warriors, you are right.
Yeah,
You're
because
right.
you people forget about the Washington Bullets. The Washington Bullets made the playoffs every season during the 70s. People forget about that
Elvin
era
Hayes.
of Elvin Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
so to Golden State's credit, they had two eras. They just never had an era this dynamic where they may have. Well, Rick Barry at one point was probably a top 10 player all time, but since then he's not a top 10 player all time.
Yeah,
Right?
he been
Rick Barry is
surprised.
probably top 30 because it's about 50 years have passed since he was at his prime. But during his prime and right after his retirement, he was probably a top 10 player all time. Right? During
Yeah, he
his
was good.
yeah, yeah. Al Attles was good. They had a scoring machine. I keep forgetting his name, but man, I think he played for the Warriors like from 77 to like 83. They had a dude like Carmelo playing for them. I keep forgetting that man's name, but the old heads talk about him, bro, like he is Alex English, bro. Like he's Dominique Wilkins. I keep forgetting. Matter of fact, I'll look him
Yeah,
up. My bad.
English was a bucket.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Mr. English too, by the way. Saw and man, Mr. English saw changed my life. I met him a couple of times, bro. South Carolina Gamecock, man, changed my life. He probably don't even
Yeah,
remember who I am.
he
But
was a bucket.
yeah, but I met him and what's my man name? Tom Hammonds. Tom Hammonds, he played power forward for the Washington Bullets when Ben Wallace and Chris Webber and Jawan Howard and all of them were there. You remember that era with Calvert Chaney?
Yeah, I remember that. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
that.
yeah.
This is the reason I brought up the Lakers. If you gave the Bus family two options, you can be a lottery team, NBA champion, Western Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals, NBA champion, lottery team, or you can say, hey, you'll be a first round exit, second round exit, first round exit, Eastern Conference Finals, second round exit. They're gonna choose the latter because it's incorporated the championship,
Right,
and the banners are what matters most.
right,
With James Dolan, I don't think the banners matter most. I think remaining competitive, remaining profitable is enough.
right,
I think it's enough, man. Like that's just so. I think that's why they're apprehensive about putting it all on the line and making the trade. Now I'll say this: Steve Mills would have got that deal done.
right.
He would have got it
The
done.
dude I'm talking about, is Purvis Short. That's the dude I'm talking.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah, I
think he's
remember
from. Is he
Purvis
from
Short.
Arkansas?
Yep.
Is he from? Okay, okay,
Pretty
okay.
sure he is.
Yeah, yeah.
Remind me of
Purvis Short.
Purvis
Yeah,
Ellison. I remember Purvis Ellison was with the Celtics, and he got injured because he was moving something and he smashed his big toe with a table, bro.
yeah. I
And
remember that.
missed the rest of the season. But yeah, I think
That happened to my cousin. My cousin Curtis. My cousin Curtis. He got drafted by the DJ. Bro, I have a lot of family. I got a lot of family members that missed stardom by this much, bro. We
yeah,
talk about that all the time at family functions. Like my cousin Curtis was a high school athlete. He was drafted by the Detroit Tigers and they moved him to catcher and he was going to be like a Tony Pena style catcher. Like he was so athletic, but he wasn't a strong catcher like Johnny Bench. He was like a dude that you move from center field and put the catcher's equipment on, a superior athlete behind the plate, like a Benito Santiago for those that know baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But anyways, yeah, man. I'm sorry about this, but the thing I wanted to ask, and I think a lot of, in fairness to a lot of us in Knicks Nation, we want to get an answer to this question. Why hold on to assets and wait for the perfect scenario when you could just go get the guy and overpay and then recoup the assets?
Yep.
Right? Or if the roster is so flawed that it takes a miracle worker to come take this team to a championship, then
Then what
why
are you
not
doing?
improve the roster?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah. You feel me? And I know Knicks fans will watch this and be like, Uncle Freezie is always reaching. No, what I'm asking you as a Knicks fan to do is elevate the way that you're thinking about what you see. And don't just go by what people tell you. Right? If they're saying that a Donovan Mitchell coming here can't take this roster to the championship, then this Donovan Mitchell is not the problem.
It's a roster.
The roster is the problem.
Yep.
Right? Or
Yep.
if you feel like you got to keep saving and keep saving and keep saving for a miracle worker, right? Then the miracle worker, the price for the miracle worker is not the problem.
Yep.
The roster is the problem. So why not improve the roster, right? And then go get your miracle worker. Have the do Hannah Montana. And I know a lot of people. Yo, is Hannah Montana too outdated? Do people remember Hannah Montana? Is that too long ago?
My oldest gone, Mike.
Is High School Musical too long ago, bro?
She might.
Okay.
My baby girl, she don't know nothing about it.
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's my issue. If Donovan Mitchell, Zach LaVine, Brandon Ingram can't get this team to championship contention, then what are we doing with the roster? Then why are we giving out roster spots to Taj Gibson and Ryan Arcidiacono, Daquan Jeffries, and Charlie Brown when a Joel Embiid still has us? If we trade for Joel Embiid, if we're still 2 players away, then what are we doing with the roster?
Yep. And that's why I say it's no reason not to incrementally improve. There's no reason not to. Because if you're a 45 win team and Zach LaVine makes you a 48 win team, then why not do it?
Then why not do it, right? Right. my thing is this, and I'm just gonna point out one player, and I'm not bashing Quentin Grimes, right? But if you want to develop Quentin Grimes into Kentavious Caldwell Pope, why not just go get Kentavious Caldwell Pope right now, right? And use Grimes to help get another asset. Why are we saying, man, in 2 years, Grimes will be KCP? Are we really waiting for 2 years to get KCP? That makes no sense in my mind, right? I'll give you another example of it. Are we really waiting? Are we really going to wait 2 or 3 more years so that RJ Barrett can develop into a Jaime Jaquez, Jimmy Butler type player?
Well, that was gonna be the next thing I said, which is the only thing they can be waiting on is I can't include Quickly anymore because Quickly's gone, man. He's gone. Whether it be trade or free agency, he's gone. So the only thing they could possibly be waiting on is RJ and Grimes. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no ultimate ceiling for Jericho Sims.
No.
It's what he is.
Jericho Sims is not an NBA center, bro.
I mean, I don't see a major step up for Miles McBride. Pretty much is what he is.
Right.
So the only thing you could be waiting on is the emergence of RJ Barrett,
Right.
which is rooted in whether or not he can be consistent. Point blank, period. Can he be consistent?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I
But like you
don't
said, though, if you're expecting Grimes to be KCP, why not get somebody that's going to consistently be KCP?
right now. Right. If it's going to take Grimes 2 years to be KCP, and Randall's contract is up in 2 years, and Brunson's contract is up in 2 years, what are we wasting time for?
Yeah, I hate that they didn't take the swing though, because these dudes ain't gonna be bargaining contracts.
Right.
It's getting to a point where they're gonna be. Well, I mean, I don't see any way in the world that Julius Randle takes any less than the $200 million extension.
Oh, if he makes the All-Star team, if Randall makes the All-Star team a third time, is All NBA a third time? Now you're not looking at 200 million. Now you're looking at 280, 90.
Yeah.
And if
And
it's a fifth year, and if Randall gets 5 years, you talk about Jaylen Brown type money. And I know people are gonna say Randall ain't Jaylen Brown.
he got a better resume.
Yeah, would if you had Randall and Jason Tatum playing next to each other. If you had Randall in between Jason Tatum and Kristaps Porzingis,
Championship. Yeah,
I ain't saying she a gold digger, but yeah, you feel me?
Yeah, but see, it goes to the point that people kept saying, you don't have to rush. They're trying to rebuild. No, the time to strike is now. Your best players are on great contracts. They're both right in the middle of their prime at 27, 26 years old. This is when you take the swing. And in order to take the swing, you know what you have to do? You have to trade kids and you have to trade picks.
Right. You think
And
Boston
guess what? If it
about
doesn't,
trading kids?
No, of course not. Of course not. But listen, Boston has had, think about it, Isaiah Thomas, Scary Terry, Kyrie, Kimba. Like they've had so many players in and out of that team, and they haven't suffered.
No.
They haven't suffered. So I mean, when you tell me that you're scared to trade for Donovan Mitchell because you're scared of the price,
yeah,
are you doing this thing you don't trust the front office?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. I don't trust my front office to be able to put a team around Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and Donovan Mitchell. Okay, so you got 3 All-Star, All NBA caliber players, and you don't think these dudes can build a championship team around that? Then what we doing?
Right.
What we doing?
And then the other thing, the funny thing to me is Knicks fans will say, and I'm not bashing all Knicks fans, y'all. I'm talking about individual narratives from individual Knicks fans. And I know I generally address our chat and Knicks fans as a collective. This time I'm just full disclosure, I'm just mentioning narrative by an individual Knicks fan here or there. And I know they don't speak for the masses, but I think it's intriguing that they say things like this, right? If you trade for Donovan Mitchell, where's your defense going to come from? Right?
Oh God,
And we
that's
say
the
that
worst.
on a night that we legit scored 139 points against the Phoenix Suns. If your entire logic is anchored in defense wins championships, then you are Rip Van Winkle. Right? You fell asleep in 1976 and you woke up today thinking that you need that defense that you can win a championship with a score of 77-71. Right? That's not today's NBA.
Nope.
Today's NBA is centered around who brings the most firepower to the table on a nightly basis.
Yep.
That's it. It's an arms race. It's not about you want a defender to get stops so that you can keep you can keep scoring. Right? You're trying to outscore teams, and I know outscoring teams. I know, I get it. That's the name of the game. One more point than another guy. But no, we're talking about teams legit want to win 141 to 120. That's what teams want to do. There was a time, Woodshed, when if a team scored, man, from the 90s Knicks, when a team scored 100 points, we thought Kazi IVs after the game. And the Knicks scored 139 points in overtime. I mean, in 48 minutes the other night. And could have scored 160 if they felt like it. Oh, I'm sorry, 150 if they felt like it.
Well, Indiana's pushing that theory to the max.
Yeah. I if I'm the Knicks, man, if I'm the Knicks, right now is the time where you have say Zach LaVine has what 3 more years. He signed the same time as Jalen Brunson, and he got 5 years. So Zach LaVine's contract is up the year after Brunson's contract is up, right? Why not go get Zach LaVine right now, right? While you have all these guys making decent money, right? And then if a Zach LaVine Randall Brunson thing doesn't work, and here's the tricky part, and I don't want to make it sound as if I'm playing musical chairs, but if a Zach LaVine Randall Brunson thing doesn't work, you can always package Zach LaVine and Julius Randle, right? So instead of your trade package now looking like RJ Grimes and Quickly, it looks like Zach LaVine, Julius Randle, and a bunch of first-round picks for a guy.
And
I'm sorry.
that right there is, you made my point before I even said a word. Remember when I just said one trade does not have to be the end all. If the Celtics didn't have Malcolm Brogdon, they don't get Drew Holiday. They don't.
Right?
They don't. So an acquisition that nobody thought made sense at the time, which was Brogdon to Boston, ended up being the reason they were able to add so much talent to the roster that people are putting them over teams that have legitimately won championships with the core that they have. Right. So if you're talking about trading for a Joel Embiid or Luka Doncic 2 years from now, if you got an all-star LaVine, an all-star Randall to put in that deal, now you don't have to deplete your team.
Right. So Dre says Zach has 4 years remaining. Yeah, he signed the same time as Brunson, right? He signed his 5-year deal the same time as Brunson, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so both of them have played about a year and a half. So he's probably got like 3.5. Yeah, something like that. I'm counting this year. I'm counting this year in that too as a year under the belt. So it's probably 4, but it's like 3 and some change. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I'm locking Zach LaVine into that. I'm taking that and locking him into that dollar amount, because the alternative is say trading for Anthony Davis, who just signed an extension I think he signed a 3-year extension for 182.
Like 180 something.
Bro, a 3-year extension for 182? We talking about $60 million a year?
Yep.
Bruh. Giannis signed the same extension, 3 for like 182 or something.
Yep.
We talking about $60 million a year? I'm taking Zach LaVine at 48, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Because you'd be able to put another piece with him. You know, so I mean, you can't. This is what frustrates me. You can't tell me that the superstar is going to be the finishing touch. That makes no sense.
Right.
It makes no sense for you to say. You know what it reminds me of? Of the New York Giants fans that are saying, we just need to build a team and then find a quarterback. No. No,
No, you remember
no.
that Clint Eastwood was in a movie one time where he said that is what you call bass ackwards. You remember that? Clint Eastwood? That's bass ackwards. Yeah, man. Yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah,
It's
I
just
don't.
it's a sobering reality because I think I'm gonna be honest. If the Knicks won one championship, I'm good for 10 years. I'm good for
I'm
10
not.
years,
I'm
man.
not. If the Knicks win the championship, I'm good for. I'll be good for 3 years. But the thing, it's like it's like you know how when you're dehydrated and the more water you drink, the more you want water. That's what I'm. That's where I am with it, man. That's where I'm at with it, man. I'm in the mindset that so before we get out of here, right? I want to tell you my line of thinking, and then tell me if you think I'm flawed, right? I think the move the Knicks need to do right now, not tomorrow, not in 2 years, right? Is give everything that you have to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander right now. I don't care about the cupboard being bare. I don't care about with the man. He turned out, man. They used that pick to draft Bronny. I don't care about none of that, bro. I don't get. Man, they used that draft pick to draft Cooper Flag. Man, I don't care. I
But
don't care.
you know where I'm down with that. They can have every one of them picks for the next decade if they send him over.
Yeah, I
They can
would.
have take all the picks,
Yeah, they could have them.
take all the
They,
picks.
they could. They.
And I hate that you said OKC because my skin crawled because they got exactly what we need and could have drafted in
Yeah,
Jalen Williams. They
yeah,
have exactly what we need
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because and they would do that trade with the Knicks. You know why? Because Jalen Williams is another SGA type player.
yeah. I would trade. I would trade the entire kit and caboodle for SGA right now. And I know cats like IKBM Dre don't like SGA to the Knicks for a number of reasons that are not related to basketball. Right? I understand that. I understand that it's not necessarily the basketball part of it. Because I know they love SGA as a basketball player, but I know it's stuff like the economics of it and some other stuff that they might not be on board for giving up everything for. But everything to everybody is different. What's in my garage and what's in Woodshed garage is different, right? So what's valuable to me, what I save and what I value and what Woodshed values is different, right? Like I feel like the two raggedy lawnmowers I got are valuable because all I need is a piece or two and both of them can work. And Woodshed's like, nah, man, I ain't keeping up with that raggedy stuff around taking up space in my garage, bro. I'm just go buy me a new mower. And that's where the Knicks are. The Knicks are in a place where they feel like their assets may be value in a way. And I'm saying that no, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Man, get rid of why are we holding on to Washington, Detroit,
Makes
Milwaukee,
no,
and
makes
Dallas's
no,
first round picks
makes
when
no
we're
sense.
not going to draft anything in the first? Man, trade those
Right.
picks to Oklahoma City
Yep.
for SGA. And if you need to match money, give them Fournier, who's coming off the books. Give them Hartenstein, who's coming off the books. Give them Miles McBride, who's coming off the. And I love Deuce, by the way. Deuce and Deuce, big fan of the channel. Salute to Deuce McBride and his people. I hope all is well. I hope he get run tonight. But man, just do it, man. Do it. Like what? Bro, Woodshed. If we hold on to Grounds for 3 more years, what are we gonna have in 3 years? We're gonna have a 26-year-old Grimes. That's what we're gonna have, right? That's all we're gonna have. I would trade. I would go get that guy right now And then, but Woodshed, here's the kicker, right? Here's the kicker. What type of big is the best big to play with SGA? Is it Randall? Because if it's not, then I'm going to Cleveland and offer them the whole kit and caboodle, whatever's left for Evan Mobley.
Mm.
And my young core is going to be Brunson, SGA, maybe RJ if he survives, and Evan Mobley.
Mm. Well, I mean that gives you a similar trajectory, if not better, and you also get younger. So I mean, I definitely be on board with that, man. But it's the time to do something, man. Like they let Evan Fournier just come off the books. That's a problem. If they don't make a move before these guys start making 40, 50, 60 million, that's a problem. If
Right.
you continue to let young players lose all their value where they can't be traded for anything, that's a
That's
problem.
the problem.
You
Yep.
know, letting guys that you really probably should keep walk away call for millions quickly, that's a problem. So
Right.
asset management is an issue, and you hope and pray that they can fix it.
Mm.
You can't trade Mitchell Robinson. He's going to miss the next 30 games. He's going to be out through the deadline. So, I
Yep.
mean, I don't know, but I'm
I'm doing it, bro.
gonna get a power nap in because I probably won't be able to make it through that game tonight, man.
Yeah,
Like
man.
I
Well,
can't handle them late West Coasters, man.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. Just let me ask you this, just really quick, before you go, right? If I told you that Evan Mobley takes less than 12 shots a game, right? Less than 12 shots a game, but averages 16, right? Shoots 77% from the free throw line, right? Gets you 10 and a half rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal per game, all while not fouling. What would you say?
I say that he on that Chris Bosh trajectory for real.
If that 3-pointer starts to fall, bro, if his 3-pointer starts to fall, we're looking at Anthony Davis.
Mm. Well,
Would you take Evan Mobley right now, a 22-year-old, 6'11", 225-pound Evan Mobley to be your big in the future of NBA basketball?
I mean, I would take him.
I would take him, bro. I would, and I love Randall, bro. I love Randall, but
Yeah,
if
he would
we're
have to
talking
go
about
though.
if we're talking about economics, man,
He would have to
I,
go.
yeah, he and RJ and those draft picks, man.
He
Yeah,
had to go.
I think the Knicks' future: Jalen Brunson, Evan Mobley, and SGA. I think we win a championship with that early, and then by the time Brunson and Spider get old, now Evan Mobley is carrying them as opposed to vice versa in the very beginning.
I can see it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, bro. You got anything before we wrap up?
Yeah, man, keep the peace. Don't attack one another, man. Respect the other opinions that don't even align with yours, man. That's all I got.
Yeah, man. All right, y'all. Thank y'all everybody for watching. I'm not sure if we're gonna come on later tonight, man. It's Saturday, and I usually reserve this day for family time and all that stuff. The dogs have broken up me and Miss Mocha several times in here cock blocking. They won't, you know what I'm saying? They won't let me
Oh
play
my.
the game. They won't let me when we get that feeling, you know what I'm saying? I want every time that park honey start barking.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
my. Dogs better sit down somewhere.
Yeah, man. For more Woodshed 1914, follow him on X to get expert opinion and truth telling in its truest form. And maybe one of these days, one of these weeks, me and Woodshed will stop messing around and start doing the big Boss Man Roundtable more than one time a week. But we'll see how that goes. All right, y'all.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all for watching. Peace, everybody.